Hey Capricorn, welcome to your June 2025 quick read. Let's get into it. Just a moment ago, I was trying to start this, and I said June 2023. So I don't know if that's important for y'all in some type of way. What happened to y'all 2 years ago? Anyway, let's go ahead and hop in. What is Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising? Need to know about June 2025. Spirit, make it abundantly clear. What will my Capricorns experience in June? Okay, the Emperor. Two more. What do they need to know about June? What will my Capricorns experience in June? Ten of Wands. One more. Ooh, I'm not seeing. Trying to flip over. There it is. All right. Knight of Cups. And then we also got the World card here, so I'll keep that to the side for now. The Emperor's Aries energy. Knight of Cups gives us water sign energy, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. On this card we also have Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. So any of those signs may be relevant to you. They do not have to be. Bear with me 1 second, Capricorn, while I look these over. Okay, Capricorn, so the immediate message that I'm getting with the Emperor and the Ten of Wands in reverse is that everything is falling on you. And I think that may be making you a little, either you're freaking out or you're like a little bit uptight in the month of June, simply because if you don't do it, who's going to do it? If you're not the one to say it, who's going to say it? If you're not the one that's working the extra hours, who's going to work the extra hours? Like, there seems like there's a lot of pressure. I'm going to be honest, it seems like pressure that you put on yourself. So like, for example, if you are the provider in your household, you may have taken up blah, blah, blah amount of hours, or you have a particular job that requires you to hit a certain quota in order to make a certain amount of money. So you may be like really pushing it because you want to make sure you're hitting these quotas or whatever the case may be. To be honest, this feels like personal ambition though, because even if it's not that you're a provider, whatever it is you're going after this month, you have every intention of it happening the way that you planned it, and the way, and like, you know, wanting to make something happen or wanting to prove a point or whatever the case may be. So there's a little bit of like a control issue going on where you're like taking on all the burden, all of the responsibility. It feels like it's all on your back, but like I said, you've kind of chosen this. For others of you though, this feels like there's a boss, a spouse, someone that is either actually above you, quote unquote, being your boss, or someone who you feel like kind of plays that authority figure in your life. They may not have control over things. They may be either being a little either they don't, like, okay, I can't explain it. This feels like someone who doesn't know what they're doing, but they talk and act as if they do. And that may bother you, Capricorn, because you can, one thing I love about a Capricorn, one thing I know about a Capricorn is y'all cannot stand somebody being in charge that don't know what the heck they're doing, okay? And that's how it feels, Capricorn, is that you may be under someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, but they're simultaneously kind of putting everything on you because they don't know what they're talking about. If this is a spouse, it may be that they have these requirements of you, and it's kind of it's falling on you anyway. Either way, though, you're working hard this month, in the month of June, at least if nothing else, to keep the structure, to keep things running. The good news is by the end of the month, you do end up doing, like, accomplishing whatever goal it is that you're trying to accomplish. At the very least, you feel content and emotionally like fulfilled. It is kind of dependent on you following your heart though. Okay, now the Knight of Cups is our romantic card, but another thing that we don't talk about with him is that she, in this card, she's a she. The Knight is a card of creativity and following one's heart as well. And so I think being under this force, or this person, or whomever it is, you end up deciding that you need to do or follow your first mind or follow your first heart. And that ultimately leads you to not only personal satisfaction, but satisfaction in the situation overall. Like, you actually do accomplish a goal and complete some things. So that's the great news about this whole, I don't know, pressure that you're dealing with in the month of June, is that you ultimately end up being better when and if you decide, you know what, I'm going to do what I think should be done. And let me be clear, you don't want to go so far where you end up being this emperor and taking over where you shouldn't be, or being too rigid or being too controlling. But it does feel like the moment you say what you told me doesn't make sense and I'm going to do this, not to overshadow you or not to like, knock you off your pedestal, but I also think that this really might work better for us, for me, for them, whomever the case may be, and you follow your heart and it ends up working out in your favor. For others of you, you learn to let go. Because I think for some of you, you are kind of being a little bit of the emperor. It's a little bit of a control issue, a little bit of stress going on. And you like, you know what? I'm going to just let go and have a good time, because if I keep on dealing with this, I'm going to have a stroke, okay? Aries may be relevant. I don't know if I mentioned that. I did earlier. But yeah, this could be an Aries in any one of these positions as well. So, all right. So let's get into your career and finances. What does the zodiac sign Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising need to know about their career and finances in June 2025? What are my Capricorns experiencing in their career and finances? Thank you. First card out. It's time to profit. Watch divine timing. Seize the moment. Career. Waiting period, temp work laid off. Heart, emotional spending. Finances, being supported. Careers, you can be a counselor or a guide. I just heard for somebody like a legal counselor, and having a job you love. Okay, we have hand, manifesting money. Sorry, y'all got distracted. Reach goals, financial assistance, hands-on work, getting a job. Okay, Tower, earning power, building a business, sound decision. You can work in corporate, you can work in power. I just heard for somebody like some sort of science, and being in an unstable position. Okay, so bear with me for a second, Capricorn. There's a lot of power in your career and finances in the month of June, Capricorn. I just feel the need to say that. I don't know if it's you and your push, right? Like you putting the extra work in, putting in the hours, whatever the case may be. It's a heavy load. It's a burden, but you're really trying to make things better. You're trying to improve your financial situation. And I like this. I'm getting this energy of like you putting your foot on people's necks, like on the gas. Like I said, if you have a job that works on like commission, or like I said, you're trying to hit a certain goal or something, you're like really putting your foot on like pedal to the metal so that you can get to that goal. Okay, and you kind of end up profiting from that, or at least that's the attitude that you have. Like I'm getting that Denzel, what he said, I'm leaving here with something. Like it kind of feels like that, especially if you're in, for some of you, if it's a legal battle or anything like that, you just may be going as hard as you can to ensure that you get a result that you're okay with. A lot of you are working in careers that you really care about. Okay. Or at least that's what you're looking for. That's what you want. You want a heart-based career, somewhere that you want to be because you love it, not just because you have to make money. And I think for some of you that may be the problem. Is like, of course I want to make money, but I also want to love what I do. And maybe you find it. I also feel like there's a little need for a mental break, or maybe an emotional break with this Knight of Cups. Like you're just so spent a little bit. So maybe going to therapy, or, spending your money on something that allows you to kind of emotionally let go so you don't have to worry so much about all of this will be great. Okay. But you're making sound decisions on whatever it is you're trying to build and create. It's just stressful, if I'm being honest with you, Capricorn, just being direct. It's stressful. It's a lot. Okay. But you're manifesting it and you're reaching it. I just will say, just be careful about burnout. Okay. If you have an opportunity, take the opportunity, but ask yourself, does it have to be all you? Is there anybody else you can delegate to? Is there any way that you can move? Because like I said, for some of you, you feel like to be honest, you need a new job, but this is just not the time to go searching for one. If you're not unemployed, like if you're currently employed, you may have to stay where you are for a while, but it may be time to at least start looking, seize that opportunity, because I don't really feel like there's something going on there. Okay. But you're in a waiting period. It's going to happen for you. You're putting in the work, but don't burn out. Because I feel like, I'm going to be honest with you, Capricorn, it's leaning towards like you having a spaz moment. And you may not feel this as you're watching this, right? Like you may be like, hey, I'm fine. But there may come a day or a situation where you're just like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, you don't want to get it to a point where you just bubble up and you just start acting crazy. So whatever you can do to prevent that, if you can delegate, release some things, organize some things so that you don't have to just drive. Like, I think that's the problem. You're like hitting it hard. But if you want some good news, you're definitely getting where you're going. Like on a spiritual level, you're on the right path. It's just a matter of when. Okay, my love. So let's get into your love and relationships. What does Capricorn need to know about their love and relationships in June 2025? What are they experiencing? What are... Okay. I feel like I'm going to keep shuffling. Alrighty. Bear with me. First card out. Fated meeting. Meant to be, destiny, predetermined encounter. Toxic relationship. Fighting, codependent, misunderstanding, trigger. Change, regeneration, growth, metamorphosis, cycles. Your message is coming so clear to me. Hopefully I don't forget. Got the memory of a peanut. Roll the dice, take a chance, risk, leap of faith, and strategy. Speaking very generally, so keep your mind open because this may not apply to your romantic relationships, but it may apply to another relationship during the month. A relationship is changing, and the change itself is triggering you. And being an earth sign, and like many earth signs, you guys struggle a little bit with change. And obviously, it depends on your chart, you know what I mean? But for the most part, earth is fixed. It's a fixed thing. All of you aren't fixed signs, but change itself kind of scares you all because you don't understand, like you don't know how to work with something too malleable and something that's moving and changing too much. And which is why I think a lot of earth signs focus on what they can feel, touch, like work, organization, materials, right? But with this relationship, something's changing, something's growing, to be honest. Maybe you have a child that's growing and developing. Maybe they're, like I said, a friend of yours is changing and developing in a way that you're not used to. And so that may cause some toxic things to come out. Remember, someone's being a little strict, a little rigid, a little weird. And it doesn't have to be you, Capricorn. It could be the other person, to a point where it causes a little bit of fighting. It causes a little bit of a trigger. Okay, so you both have to end up working together to see how you can, agree to disagree or decide what's next. I think whomever this person is someone that you care for dearly, who cares for you dearly. So I don't think it's something that necessarily has to end. It's just you both have to make room for changes. Is the message that I'm getting. Because for the most part, it will be a misunderstanding. And to be honest, it's sourced from codependency. Okay, and having a certain type of relationship, and again, this may not even be you. You operate a certain way, they operate a certain way, and that's how it's always been. So when something changes for one of you, it's like, what the heck is happening? And it becomes this big thing that it really doesn't have to be, because at the core of it, we're just changing, right? So there's something like that. For others of you, you meet someone, and you have to be okay with rolling the dice with being with them. Because we have the Knight of Cups, I think a lot of you are going to meet someone that's more your speed romantically. So you may have to take a chance. You may have to be smart, right? But you may have to take a chance on this person. I don't think that this person is toxic, but in the event that for some of you they are, or like you find out really quickly that this person is toxic or something wrong with them, follow that. Listen to that. Take it as a lesson, because sometimes that's all it's meant to be. The universe is kind of testing to see if you've learned your lesson from the last time. So if somebody comes around and you're like, something wrong with you, trust that feeling and don't try to convince yourself otherwise. And if you're being toxic, think about that too, because Knight of Cups in the reverse can also represent someone who is a little toxic, who is a little jealous, who has tendencies where he wants to control and he wants to I don't know, like he wants things his way. It's like love, but in the worst version of it. Sometimes it's even love bombing. So for some of you, be careful about that behavior in your own relationships. I just heard for somebody over promising, saying that you want something, knowing that, kind of knowing in the back of your head that you don't. Things of that nature may come up, especially for my more committed Capricorns. If you had, especially with this Emperor being here in reverse, there may be some control issues going on in a relationship. So maybe what's changing this month is that you're learning that, hey, I don't need to hold on so tight to this, or vice versa. That's what they're learning about you. I don't have to hold on so tight. I don't have to be so, on top of this person. Like, I can trust them to be here and be with me. And if they don't, that's okay too. Sometimes you gotta let a butterfly go and see if it comes back to you. Okay. All right, Capricorn, that's all I'm seeing for you for the month of May. Oh, excuse me, not May. June. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Have a good one. Bye.